Hey guys, it's Sam Meow. I'm back here with another video, and today we'll be talking about the winter portion of the season. So, right after LAIC, all the way up into the Puerto Rico special event. So, in December, I didn't attend any majors, so basically, I just had cups to prepare for. For all of December, I was actually really playing a lot of Terrazar, pretty much the standard Terrazar list here. I actually did win a cup with this. I think I won a challenge too. But basically, all of December, I was pretty much grinding this list, playing a lot of the new Dawn card. Dawn is actually one of my favorite cards. I actually used Dawn in this High Dragon list right here. Wasn't very good, but it was fun. So the issue I have with Terrazar was pretty good into almost everything except for Dragapult. You know, once I realized I really couldn't beat Dragapult, I got a little bit cold on it and started crawling back to Old Faithful. So like I said, most of December I was playing Terrazar, not really playing a lot of Raging Bolt. So start of January, Toronto Regionals was in the middle of January. It's about 2 weeks before Toronto. I kind of started, tweaking the old list, thinking of what I could do, what kind of techs I could play. And heading into Toronto, I ended up on a list right here. So you can see the big inclusion is the heavy judge count. Basically, I play judge to kind of disrupt the stage 2 setup decks, maybe slow down some of the single prize decks we also have issues into. And I also include the Psyduck because I thought it could give me a boost against Dusknoir. So, I'm heading in Toronto Regionals. The new list, really rejuvenated after having a rough fall. I thought it was time to lock in. I was sure this is going to be my breakout event. Feeling really great going into the event. And what happened? Toronto did not go well. Actually, Toronto was actually a disaster. So I ran into some weird matchups. It all started going downhill once I hit Ethan's Typhlosion round 2. And this event was actually so my record was, I think I went 3-4-1 again. But the interesting thing about this event was, so my record wasn't very good, but there was some positive things I could see in the list, which sounds kind of weird. So, I thought the judges were actually really good, but I did think that 3 was overkill. I thought the Psyduck was bad and the Palpad was also bad. And as you can see, I also once again did not play the Miraidon. I don't know what I had against playing Miraidon in the middle part of the year. I was really getting greedy with it. So, it felt kind of weird because the event didn't go very well, but I could still see some positives in the deck list. So, after Toronto, I felt kind of really lost with it. I wasn't really sure, what to do next. And even though, I felt deep in my heart that the list was good and had potential, I kind of started going back to some more standard OWL lists, as well as, some other lists I made for fun. So actually this list wasn't very good, but it was something fun I made. It's an OWL list kind of mixed with my Baltic list here, so we got a little bit of everything. It was pretty clunky, didn't really work, just, once again, had too many things going on, so I scrapped that pretty quick. And here is another interesting list I had, kind of like a Venusaur Baltic list. We can do the standard strategy, then move energy around, maybe create a second Iron Hands or a second attacker, maybe using the Venusaur to tank. List is really fun when it worked. Like I said, wasn't as consistent as I would have liked. So after Toronto, EUIC was just under a month away. So I know I needed that to go well for my season to get back on track. So I was really trying hard to find something. So leading up to EUIC, in the weeks leading up, I resorted back to kind of this standard Raging Bull Owl list, which is doing pretty well. Did decent at some cups, was testing well online with it. But in my heart of hearts, it kind of, didn't really feel right. I flew into London with this list, rode the train to my hotel with this list, got to the hotel, tested games against Alex with this list. Even the games I was winning, they did feel good, but I wasn't completely sold on it. And I was updating my standard Raging Bolt Joltik list leading up to EUIC. But, as some of the last few tournaments went, maybe that was a sign I shouldn't have played it, but I still, updated it, was feeling pretty good. I remember the week before EUIC, I was, about like an hour or two before a Super Bowl party, I was just playing in it. It felt good. The IRL results didn't really reflect it, but it did feel good. So in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe I should stick to my guns, give it one more try. But then, like I said, I got to the hotel in London, was testing some games against Alex, who's a really good Dragon Ball player. Even though the games, some of them went pretty well, it just didn't really feel right, honestly. Felt a little boring, which maybe isn't a good thing to say. Sometimes the best decks aren't the funnest decks, but... So I kind of looked at the list and you say, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to the Raging Bolt Joltik list one more time. And luckily for me, this was finally the time. EUIC went really well for me. I finished 59th, which is, most importantly, I got 2K. I think it's either 180 or 200 CP. Day one went really good. Beat a lot of Dragapult players. I think this deck's really good in the Dragapult. As you can see, one of the biggest inclusions that I didn't play at Toronto is this Team Rockets Watchtower. This came in huge against a Terrazard I played. I think it was round 3 or 4. So basically against these Terra lists, you want to set up your board, set up the Iron Hands. You want to judge Watchtower them, and you're putting on so much pressure that, if they can't draw out of it, you should steamroll them. And that's kind of what happened. Because without the Watchtower, I found a way to slow them down. We're really bad into some of these Terra decks. So the Watchtower I included in this list was definitely an MVP. As you can see, I went down to 2 judge. 3 was too much. I thought 2 was just right. Went up to 4 gear. Put in the Miraidon. As you can see, I really just leaned into the raw consistency, and it paid off for me. The list felt really smooth. Honestly felt really smooth all weekend. I think I went 3-1 to Gardevoir. I lost to Makani Tran round 9. I did lose a coin flip, which is a big thing. I think if I win a coin flip and can go second at least twice, I usually fare a lot better, but he did win a coin flip, which made the matchup a lot tougher, and he also played it really well, because there's some lines in that matchup that the average Gardevoir player might not pick up on. So now after day 1, I think I was 6-1, which which is okay. Day 2 went really well for me. I won my first 3 rounds, and then I did lose 1 round to a Terrazard player. I wasn't really able to get set up, and then I won my last round of day 2 to get me in top 64, and it really felt good to cash and have a really strong finish after such a tough year. And I really did just stick in my guns, playing a nice consistent list. And it really just felt good to go overseas, have a big IC finish after a tough year, and really get my year back on the right foot and kind of give me more confidence the rest of the year. Playing this deck, I finally found a good foundation to go on that was kind of balanced into some of my bad matchups, but also didn't, affect too much of my consistency. So after EUIC, I had the Puerto Rico special event in 3 weeks. So I was pretty set on playing pretty much the same list. Here is the list I played to Puerto Rico. As you can see, I did include an Iron Leaves, which is really good. You know, I just wanted an extra switch out option. It's also a good extra grass attacker into, you know, some of the Mega Absol decks, and also Zoroark got a big bump because this is when they got the Zekrom. So I was expecting Zoroark to be really popular in Puerto Rico, and having another option into that deck was good. So at the Puerto Rico special event, I finished 22nd, which is, you know, good. Special events, as you know, give out a lot of CP. Honestly, probably a lot more CP than they should, but you know, we played a system. I'm not really afraid to admit that. I usually do try to go to one special a year, usually in Puerto Rico. So I do know after day one, I think I came in at the 5th or 6th seed. So if I won one game, I was going to be in cut. Day 2 was actually only, before cut was only 2 rounds. So the first round of day 2, I played against Charizard. And honestly, it kind of went similar to my Charizard matchup in day 2 of EUSC. I didn't really get going. So I lost that one, which, you know, felt bad to be out of cut that early in day 2. Matchup I didn't really get set up on, especially after starting out so strong and being one of the top seeds. It didn't feel good to miss top cut, which in the event I really felt pretty good about winning that event. But you know, 22nd is not bad. Like I said, the list ran pretty well. The last round of day 1, I actually did lose to a Grimmsnarl player. The Grimmsnarl matchup is usually pretty good. Honestly, I think if you get step, you should win, like pretty easily. But if you miss a step and let too much damage go on the board, you can lose, and that's kind of what happened. I kind of didn't set my first turns, and then too much damage got on the board, and I lost that one, which felt, you know, really bad to lose. And then going the next round, well, technically the next day in day 2, and losing the Charizard player didn't feel very well. And then I ID'd my last round of day 2 and just got top 32, which felt good, but we would have really let the top cut that one, because I really felt like that was one I should have top cut. Yeah, kind of definitely a big turnaround from the fall. Only 3 majors, but 2 of them are pretty big finishes. So now I was kind of feeling back on track, feeling good for my Worlds invite. Like I said, once again, I felt like I had a really strong foundation on the list I was playing, feeling really confident, and I was feeling good going into the spring, feeling back on track. The invite wasn't as far away as it was going into Toronto. So I was feeling really good. I knew I had Houston in 2 weeks, and then Orlando 2 weeks after that. So I knew if I could do good at those events, I would have my invite pretty close to being locked up, which felt really good compared to how I was feeling going into the winter. So the winter was a nice turnaround. Didn't start off very well after Toronto. Toronto was kind of a disaster, but in a way it was kind of, you know, maybe a good thing, because I learned a lot, which my lesson for the winter is kind of like Toronto is like, learn from your losses. Not all losses are the same. Sometimes, you know, good things happen, losses. You can look at what went well, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, and how you can build on that. Like, we shouldn't always be so quick to say, you know, I lost, scrap everything. And the counter side of that is, if you win, you shouldn't say, oh, I'm the best, everything's fine. You should really look into what cards worked for you, what lines of play worked, and what lines didn't. And maybe in the future, you keep some of those good parts and keep some of the bad parts. Because, you know, in Toronto, like I said, it went really bad, but I did like the judge concept. I just thought it had a little bit too much of it. And I thought, you know, keeping that judge concept, maybe adding in a watchtower, adding in a Miraidon, the 4th lightning energy back in the 4th gear. So keeping that disruption, but adding in just a little bit of consistency back in the list really paid a lot of dividends for me. So yeah, my lesson for the winter was, you know, just keep your head up, keep working. really try to pick apart your games, look at what worked, try to be positive, and see where you can go from there. In the last part of the series, we'll talk about the spring and an end of the year heading into the summer.